What's up, guys? Today we discuss about SEO content, how you can create content that will bring traffic and results, sales, anything. I'm excited to discuss this topic with Noah Leonard. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, big pleasure to get in my show because I know that you have extended experience. You can share a lot of valuable insights. And as your second name, it's my I don't know, my character, to learn, to learn, to learn. Because I'm a student in this life, I wanna learn more, more. And when I speak with experts like you, I can get a lot of insights. I am pretty sure everyone who is listening or watching this video, they can learn a lot. Before we start, just tell more about yourself, experience, background, and why you decided to take this topic.
So, I come to digital marketing after about a 20-year career working in the bicycle industry. And
Mhm.
while I was in that industry, I built the website for the business that I worked for. And I also built a number of websites on the side. I spun that into a digital marketing career that started in an e commerce platform called Smart Etailing. And then in 2016, founded my own little boutique agency called Bike Shop SEO. And then I was lucky enough to merge it with a company called Two Octobers, where I work now as product director.
Mhm.
And so I've been building websites since like 20, I'm like 20, since 2001.
A
And
lot, yeah.
I know it's insane. It's a long time. And got into mobile early. Like I was really into mobile websites in 2010, I guess. And got really into SEO when I realized how impactful it was to actually drive revenue. And for me, all my efforts online have to do with revenue. So it's like everything that I do is focused around three things, which are driving traffic, improving conversion rate, and increasing average order value. And you might hear that I work in ecom mainly, but that's sort of my general focus when I'm doing SEO.
Yeah, I think you know how to drive bikes and drive traffic, drive sales. So love it. And, it's interesting that I found that, digital marketers, when they have some background, like experience in the web development, they usually pay a lot more attention with technical optimization. And someone who started their career like in writing or designing, they usually pay more attention with UX. Can you tell? Where is better to pay attention. For example, if we have limited resources, we can't handle all processes, but we need to choose our priorities and consider our strong sides. From your perspective, which way is better today to set up your SEO campaigns?
I think content is where it's at. Totally, 100%. And the reason why is that there's so much content on the web competing that to stand out, your content has to like really add meaningful insights to an area of knowledge that you're kind of competing inside of. And so any type of engagement that I get involved in, I'm always trying to build what we call topical authority for that website. And so if it's a bike shop website, we're trying to build out a lot of content around all the different categories of product that are sold and all the different types of activities that people do with that product. And in so doing, we're able to help things really rank. But you know what? Like foundational stuff matters. What I know is that things like page titles and descriptions can still drive revenue. Performing tests around page title optimization still drives revenue. I performed a test last year, and it was like the simplest test you'd ever think of, which was to add for sale as a page title suffix. And what we saw was clicks just exploded, and they were very transactional in nature. And so we were able to also connect in paid, which is really great. So we could use people who landed on those pages to build a remarketing list around, and it's a virtuous cycle.
Yeah, love it. Okay, let's talk about creating content strategy for a website because you mentioned about driving sales, and I
Yeah,
know that some traffic can't bring sales. Can you tell how to find the right keywords and choose priorities with them? Because masters can chase a lot of keywords, but they have limited resources. It's better to set up priorities and consider how you can create high quality content and provide link building campaigns. Uh, Tell about
sure.
learning. Yeah,
Yeah.
about that.
So when I think about content strategy, I think about working in two different directions. One is inside out, and the other way is outside in. And what I mean by that is that if I have a website that's been around, it's got some age, it's performing in search, it's got some level of topical authority, I lean into Google Search Console a lot. Like we've actually built a product called Explorer that's really the ultimate view of Google Search Console data. And what's amazing about it is that it expands your universe of insights from one of 1,000 rows of data inside Google Search Console to millions and millions of rows. And so we can see things on our own website that's really really powerful. Another way of working is outside in, and outside in is a situation where you don't have a website with age, or you're moving into a new topic area that you haven't worked before. And if you're working outside in, then there's all kinds of ways for getting keyword ideas, whether it's through Google search results, just actually looking at the search results, looking at the related terms, looking at the people also ask. Um, Whether it's using autocomplete at scale, using tools like Keyword Shitter 2, whether it's using Google Trends at scale, and we're building tools internally that help us do that. And combining all of those different ways of working, also looking at Wikipedia, looking at Keyword Planner, building a big bucket of lists, and then you can do something called topic clustering. And there are tools out there that are doing this. We're building a tool that allows us to do that for Google Trends data. And it's really more of an exploratory tool than a topic clustering tool. But there are other tools out there that do topic clustering, like Keyword Insights is doing a great job. Keyword Cupid is doing a great job. And there are others as well, but those are some of very very high level ways of working. It's just really inside out, starting with your own data, and then outside in. To get more granular, you're probably thinking about like what search terms align with the actions that are closest to your macro conversion. And if you're thinking in terms of the funnel, then you would want to focus on the terms that are at the bottom of the funnel, things like buy, purchase, stuff like that. And you'd want to build content around those types of queries because they're most likely to actually make you money. And then if you're working outside in and you're thinking, you can totally use that concept of using the funnel, or you can use one of intent. And there's all kinds of different tools that are producing intent modeling. Like SEMrush, for example, is providing different stages of intent, and you can use those to guide. And you can come up with some kind of internal scoring mechanism. When I say internal, I mean like inside your agency. Um, where you're scoring content based on things like, is it transactional in nature? Is it bottom of the funnel? Is it high search volume? Is my position likely to actually be rankable? Is my website have enough authority to compete in the SERPs? And if so, build it.
Yeah, love it. Yeah,
That
valuable.
helpful?
Uh, yeah, of course, it's helpful. And it's interesting that 10 years ago, when I started my online projects, I didn't consider user intent. We created only e-commerce content for any keywords. That worked well, but Google changed approaches. Today, it's
Yep.
not. Google understands the user intent. Uh, can you tell how is important today to create content for like top of funnel, like I don't know, blog posts or I mean info content to create brand awareness, because not all keywords can sell, but it's important to create brand awareness, and when the
Yeah,
right time will come, yeah, people can buy.
totally. So let's go through like how I approach bike strategy. For one of the biggest sites that I work with, we focus on trying to think about all of the jobs to be done that a user has in the bike space. They need to learn about bikes. They need to learn about categories of bikes. They need to compare pricing. They need to then decide if they're going to buy something. And then there's all the stuff that they do after they buy a bike, like getting their bike fixed, buying shorts that make their butt not hurt when they ride, gloves so they don't get carpal tunneling, all that kind of stuff, right? So we'll build out brand guides, category guides, product launch content, whether it's video or long form written. We also put a lot of energy into product detail pages, specifically things like optimizing the images for file size. We'll add custom built HTML spec tables versus just screenshots of those same things. Um, and we just feel like if you add more detail and more context and more information in a really competitive environment, it's going to help you rank and win. And so far, that's really, really worked. Like that particular strategy is one where we're seeing significant growth inside of an environment that's shrinking this year.
Yeah, valuable. Okay, let's talk about your background development. Can you tell, for example, if I check out on Google Search Console or Screaming Frog, I can find a list of keywords, I mean, like technical errors, many things. And when I reach out to my web developers, please fix it, I want to get green line according to PageSpeed Insights, they can fix everything. They yeah, probably like 30%, 40%, yeah, and most of them are not fixed. Can you tell how is important today to fix all technical errors? Is it possible to do it? And how to choose critical errors that it's must have to fix?
So, really, the question is how do we prioritize what we fixed on a technical basis?
Yes, yes, yes.
I think it's super important, depending on your niche, to figure out how all your competition's doing. You only have to be as good as the people you're competing against on the
Mhm,
technical side. That's my opinion. Now, on the
mhm,
conversion side, that's a different story. Talking to people like Arnout Hellemans, he'll tell you they've done all kinds of crazy testing where the faster the page is, every half second they save, they make X quantity of millions of dollars more for specific large scale clients. So there's two buckets. There's like the conversion bucket, page speed matters to convert. On the ranking side, though, it's less important as long as you're doing as well as other people that you're competing against. That's my personal opinion on the matter.
yeah, got it. And can you tell your loving list of SEO tools that must have? For example, I like, yeah, I think like Google Search Console and Analytics are must have, but other tools like Ahrefs, SEMrush, Moz, it depends, yeah, on your priorities. Can you share your loving list?
My list starts with one that we built called Explorer. And the
Mhm.
reason really is because you can see millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of rows of data. And the way the tool's set up, it's really set up like Search Console should have been set up from the beginning.
Mhm.
And when you have that level of insight, you can go so deep into the data and see things that other people can't. And because of that, you have a competitive advantage and you can find actionable insights that other people can't. Outside of that, though, there's other tools. I love Google Sheets.
Mhm.
Google Sheets and AppScript are such a powerful combination. You can take data from any source, pull it together to derive meaningful insights. I also rely a lot on SQL, which is a querying language that's a computer querying language to bring data sets together. A lot of times I'll take my Search Console data and I'll compare that to things like that are coming out of Keyword Planner or things that are coming out of Ahrefs or things that are coming out of trends to find gaps of where in the total addressable market for a topic area does my website not have content? And then I can use that scoring concept that I shared with you earlier to figure out what topics we actually want to work on.
Mm-hmm.
Other tools that are musts. Screaming Frog is a must from my perspective. I augment that a lot with Sitebulb. I also use a software tool called VS Code. I do a lot of work there. Believe it or not, coding sort of like helps me analyze the data faster. I can classify an entire website search data with simple tooling that'll split things up by product, by brand, by category, by intent, by stage in the funnel, and the thing will run in like 5 seconds and I'll have totally classified data, which is
Mm-hmm.
crazy useful.
Yeah, yeah, love it. Uh, what do you think about AI tools? Do we need to use them? Because Google, if I remember, yeah, John Mueller proclaimed don't use AI tools because they just rewrite content. What do you think about them?
Great question. Um, I think that AI tools serve a really good niche in the market for developing insights to inform humans to build content.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there are tools that can gather data from a lot of different places very quickly to give you insights that are meaningful, insightful, and can help you create content. Two that come to mind: Market Muse and ClearScope. Very different tools, both serving interesting purposes. Uh, I really think though that human oversight is still really, really important. Like I work on the cutting edge of building SEO tools, and things like topic clustering and bringing words together just from Search Console data. It's really, really hard to create meaning out of that because there's so much noise in the data. And even if you're doing it from comparing search results, there's a lot of work and there's a lot of infrastructure to do that. So I don't know. Personally, I'll use them for insights, but it's not part of my daily workflow yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, got it. You mentioned about Market Muse.
Yeah,
I had Jeff Coyle on my
yeah,
podcast, and
great guy.
yeah, when I compared the price of Market Muse with other tools, it looks expensive. Can you
Yeah.
tell what is the main difference? I understand that if you pay more, that means you can get much accurate, better results. Can you tell why it's expensive compared to other tools? Because you mentioned about this tool.
I actually don't have tons of insight into the pricing, to be
Mm,
totally honest with you.
yeah, I think it depends on the scaling, projects. For example, if you need more insights for many pages, yeah, it's better to use Market News. So because I use for some specific keywords, specific pages, yeah, I can use other tools. They work great as well. Okay, uh, I wanna ask you about things that almost all webmasters have, to write text for their websites. It's hard today to find responsible copywriters. For example, 10 years ago, I had a team of copywriters who wrote about anything. It worked well. Today, it's not because Google considers the parameter EAT, like expertise, authority, trust. Can you tell how to find copywriters who will write high quality text for websites?
Uh, that's a great question, and I'm smirking because we've like been busting our butt at 2 Octobers to grow our
Mhm.
content team. So like
Mm.
our solution to the problem was to hire. And
Oh.
uh, there are some great websites and also Slack communities though.
Mhm.
A Slack community that comes to mind is called Superpath,
Mhm.
and it's run by a guy named Jimmy Daly. And there's thousands of the world's best content marketers there. Other places that you could turn, there's another Slack community that I've had a lot of success hiring people, is Online Geniuses.
Mhm.
And then a third place that I found people is angel.co. And I found over the years that online geniuses seem to be the place that I made my hires, and I learned about a niche, and I learned about the talent that was available on angel.co. Other people have a lot more success on that platform. I was really stoked on it, but I just didn't have a lot of hiring success with it.
Yeah, got it. Okay, let's talk about UX. What do you think about UX? How is important today to optimize your content with UX? Does Google consider it or not?
Good question. UX is a huge bucket, right? And
Mm-hmm.
parts of UX align with core web vital stuff like cumulative layout shift is a UX. It's a
Mm-hmm.
UX thing where when the user goes to click on a button at the last second, it shifts down right as you go to click, and you click on a dark pattern, whether it's a button that opens up an ad or something like that. I personally think that when you're building a website, it should be built to convert. When
Mm-hmm.
I got started doing all of this stuff, it all started building party flyers for techno parties back in 2000. And I was really into that type of music. And I wanted to build stuff that was cool. And then
Mm-hmm.
I learned all about grid design, and I learned all about clear communication, beautiful typography. So I used to build all kinds of sites back in the day. And then I had this one website that was white. It had kind of colorful headlines and it had vibrant images, but the overall feeling of it was kind of just a B, but it converted at 2% for
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, that's a nice, right? I was like
Yeah.
getting stoked, and I was like, wait a minute, it's about the conversions. Like, set it
Mm-hmm.
up so that your CTAs are dead center, repeating, big button. The only color that the only time that color is used is on the main call to action for that page. Stuff like that is critically important. Talking to your user, making them a hero in their journey, and all of your content is about them and helping them accomplish their goals, finishing their jobs to be done. That's like how to drive conversions, and that's how like content and UX and imagery all kind of work together. And it's also tied to accessibility, right? have,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
have you ever been with someone who's blind as they use the web? Have you ever
Mm,
experienced that?
mm, no, I didn't have this experience. Like, yeah, but I understand we have a lot of people.
Oh my God. If you've never experienced what it's like for people who are blind to use the web, if you know anyone who's blind, sit with
Mm-hmm.
them. Maybe do it on a Zoom meeting or whatever. It'll change the
Mm-hmm.
way that you work on the web. And the reason why is that they're using tools that speak to them. They speak all of the content to them that they're experiencing. And it's all at kind of like machine gun speed. And it's very loud. And it's like, brah, 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 brah. Like sound is coming at you so fast. And
Mm-hmm.
like building our websites so that they're accessible so that everyone can derive meaning from them, it's just incredibly important. Using proper alt tags for all of our images, really designing our website structurally so that it's easy for someone on a screen reader to actually get through the content. You know, it's not my biggest soapbox, but it's something that I do indeed care about, and I think
Mm-hmm.
we should all work harder at that.
Love it. Yeah, I think because like 25% of people can't see good. You know, yeah, they are not blind, but yeah, 25% of people just have not good vision about that. Okay, let's talk about link building. Can you share your insights how to choose the right link building campaigns? Because we have a bunch of link building campaigns. Do we need to consider black hat SEO?
Good question. I don't work in link building at all.
Mhm.
I don't.
Yeah.
Uh, Now let me take a step back and rewind though a little bit,
Okay.
because like 90% of my time is spent building SEO tools now, right? Like that's
Mhm.
the vast majority of the things that I'm working on. But like when I was working in SEO more actively day to day, I would do things like, let's say I'm working for a bike shop. if a bike shop rented bikes, I would reach out to all of the property management companies, all of the apartment buildings, all of the physical therapists, all of the local universities, and I try and find relevant local places to get links, city websites that had event calendars, stuff like that. But in general, I'm trying to build linkable, link-worthy assets and not focus so much on the promotion. And I'm definitely not doing anything black hat, and I'm definitely not doing any PBN stuff. I think
Mhm.
I think really we all kind of need to make the web a better place. The bottom line
Mhm.
is we need to make the world a better place, right? And engaging in black hat stuff, the only place that that's going to lead is pain, and it's pain for somebody. Whether you're stealing business from small mom and pop businesses, or whether it's you're working with a client and you bring them quick results and then their business tanks and then they have to lay off team members, like, no, thank you. I'm not going to do any of that.
Yeah, love it. I think yeah, great insights about that because it costs money to create
Yeah,
high quality content a lot, but when the links destroy all your efforts, yeah, it's painful.
yeah.
So yeah, I agree with that. Can you tell more about automation? You built
Well,
SEO tools.
yeah.
Yeah, tell me how we can optimize the process, SEO process, with tools.
I think it starts in a couple of key places. The first place is reporting, because reporting
Mm-hmm.
is a huge time suck for most SEOs. And getting all your data into a tool like Google Data Studio is a really powerful way to be able to shore up time so that you can focus on other things. I'll do
Mm-hmm.
things using Screaming Frog on scheduled crawls that let me take a step back. Like, the main way that I automate stuff, the core tooling for a lot of stuff is, believe it or not, AppScript, Google AppScript. And I tie it together with triggers, sometimes Zapier, sometimes a tool that used to be called Integramat. I don't remember. They just rebranded. I forget what they call their new brand.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I also use Node.js, which is just a super powerful JavaScript language. And I tie all those together to do all kinds of stuff, whether it's data pipelining, i.e., pulling data from Google Search Console and storing it up in BigQuery, or whether it's transforming that data every single day to make it easier for me to use, whether it's creating alerts, whether it's creating automated reporting, whether it's setting up monthly triggers to email all of our clients to set up our monthly client calls. When I was at Bike Shop SEO, I used automations in order on the first day of the month to delegate all of that month's workout to everyone on the team. And that was pretty sick because I hated project management. And so it was really nice to free up all that time to just say, like, I'd have all my team. They would all be assigned to different accounts. And then on the first day of the month, the tool would run and it would assign all the tasks out for the month, which was
Mm-hmm.
pretty sweet. A little bit of modification, but it was a huge time saver. Onboarding, oh my God, like automating your onboarding process, that's like a must from my perspective, or as much of it as you can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, love it, love it.
Is that helpful?
Yeah, yeah, of course, helpful. Because I tools can help to save my time, so much time. Resources. So it's very important. Yeah, I'm developing my tools as well, but I usually pay more attention to content marketing because I can
Yep.
get much higher results with that. But yeah, I love tools, and yeah, we have a goal to unite AI data from OpenAI to our tool. Yeah, I don't know when we have time with that, but yeah, it's the goal.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about unique features on tools. I found that many people who are using Ahrefs or any other tools, they just use a teeny percent of all possible features. For example, like 5% or Google Analytics just to search traffic on Google Search Console, ranking positions, or anything else. Can you tell how to learn more about tools to use all possible data to optimize the process?
Great question. Um, I'm struggling a little bit how to answer it because there's a lot of ways I could take this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I did a deck. Like, I speak at conferences. I'm speaking at MozCon next month, and I'm speaking at Search Love later this month.
Mm-hmm.
And part of getting ready for these conferences was trying to do something called earning your knowledge. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how do we know what we know? And I wanted to know where all this data comes from. Like, you'll open up a tool like SEMrush, or you'll open up a tool like Ahrefs, and they'll say like, "Hey, the search volume is X or Y. It's this competitive or that competitive." And I never really understood where all those numbers came from. I didn't really have tons of insight. And so I started to dive into all the different data sources. And
Mm-hmm.
what you see will totally open up your eyes to how the web works if you put the time in. And I think it's really, really worth it, because then you'll understand which tool you'll want to spend more time with and which one you'll spend less time with. But for me, like the foundational tool that I work outwards from always is Google Search Console. Now,
Mm-hmm.
and the thing about every single tool and the data that they have is that that data is something called directional, meaning it gives us insight into the direction that things are moving up or down, and it gives us a sense of magnitude. Is it big? Is it small? But nothing is accurate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, love it. Can you tell how to choose the right CMS for a new project? For example, if someone wanna create a website, we have a bunch of CMS, and from your experience, because you have this development experience, tell how to choose today.
Good question. I think it's totally unique on the need of that particular website. A lot of people are going to lean into WordPress, and that's just where the industry is. I've always built, not always, but almost always built on a platform called ModX, MODX. It's
Mm-hmm.
PHP based, and I think it's the bee's knees. What's amazing about it is this concept of creative freedom. You can build a website to look any way you want, um, which is pretty great. Super fast, super secure. That's been my platform of choice since 2008. Actually, I've
Mm-hmm.
also worked a lot in Shopify. If you have to do like easy e-commerce integrations, I think Shopify is great. You can also do WooCommerce. And then as you scale up, if you're in ecom land, you might think about BigCommerce, you might think about Magento, you might think about pick your e-commerce platform of choice. Different verticals, though, are going to have their CMS that really works for them. Like photography has their own 4 or 5 different CMSs. The bike industry has one really strong one called Smart Detailing, and probably every vertical has that kind of segmentation for the CMS, and the needs of the individual client are going to drive that. Like, what's the biggest problem that you need to solve to be successful in your industry? Like in the bike industry, it's data from manufacturers, and so the one
Mm-hmm.
platform that makes it easy to get all of that G10 and UPC data into the platform is the one that rules them all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, love it. Okay, I have the question about learning SEO. How to get skills about SEO knowledge today? For example, if you started from scratch without any experience, what would you do today if you start from scratch?
Great question. Can I go long on this one?
Of course, of course.
Okay, cool. So, couple things. First thing is I would read Moz's Beginner's Guide to SEO. I think it's like
Mm-hmm.
the best piece of foundational SEO knowledge out there. As I get like more comfortable with the data, I would then go look at that amazing resource that Oleda has built called learningseo.io or
Mm-hmm.
learnseo.io. I think that has tons of like beginner to very advanced topics. Like if it's hreflang, for example, it's like, whoa, no thanks. I don't want to touch hreflang.
Uh-huh.
But like that's an amazing resource. But
Mm-hmm.
when I heard you ask this question, I heard a topic that's adjacent to it, which
Mm-hmm.
is how do I really make my way in the SEO profession. And
Yeah.
that is the topic that I'm the most excited to talk about other than SEO data. Is it okay if we
Mm.
go there?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to share a little bit of my life story because I think that if somebody's starting out, they're going to hear nuggets here that they'll be able to use to like grow their career like crazy. Okay. So I worked in bike shops. I knew a lot about bicycles. I knew how to build websites. I had a technical-ish kind of skill set, but the
Mhm.
core skill set that I had was being tenacious, gritty,
Mhm.
enjoying problems and not giving up, going down rabbit holes sometimes too much, but not quitting. So that was my tenacity. And when I started doing SEO, I went to MozCon Local in 2016. And when I
Mhm.
was there, I met every single speaker. I got every single speaker's card. I had 3 to 5 minutes, 3 to 10 minutes with them. I wasn't crazy strategic about it. It's just I like people, and I just went up and. The next year, I went to MozCon Local again. I did the exact same thing. This is 2017, February of 2017. I met a guy named Jordan Chu, who we then founded our hangout together called Agency Automators. And we got to be really close. We spent a lot of time together. We did some projects, and I felt like I didn't know how I fit in. All
Mhm.
these people you'd see on Twitter, they're really good at X, really good at Y. And the whole time I'm like, man, I'm kind of good at like building things. I'm kind of good at solving problems. I understand content. I took um, I took this course called SEO That Works by Brian Dean, and I got a lot out of that. And I was successful at building long form content based on that process. And then, so I started to build my first piece of content, which was the ultimate guide to bike shop SEO. It was 5,000 words long, super
Mhm.
informative. And I reached out to all these SEO luminaries who I had met at conferences, and I sent them emails. Hey, I built this thing. Would you check it out and give me feedback? They all linked to it. They shared it to their social communities, and I started to get the tiniest of traction. I was really nervous about people, but I forced myself to reach out. And that's the message. Do it. Do it,
Mhm.
do it, do it. Find your strength. Find your sweet spot. Find your social media channel that you really, really like. For me, it's Twitter. And so on Twitter, I would start to like what people had to say. I'd then start to comment. And if they commented back, I might like some more posts. And I always tried to keep in mind the people who are 6 to 24 months ahead of me in the craft. And I'd reach
Mhm.
out to them whenever I needed to solve a problem. And also, we had that hangout, right? So we had a hangout about automation. And so we have the smartest people in digital marketing coming on that show, not the smartest, but like some of the smartest people in digital marketing coming on the show to tell us about what they're working on. And so I have all of these people who are becoming friends of mine, who are becoming advocates. And if I get stuck in something, I can reach out to them. And then we built a Slack community about automation. And so hundreds of people have joined our Slack community. There's like, I don't know, 700 people in it, 600 people. And so we have a whole community of people who are into the types of stuff that I'm into. Here's the strategy piece. It's a lot like being a shepherd at the top of a mountain with a whole bunch of sheep, and all you know is that you need to get them down the mountain, right? That's your career. And so you keep reaching out to people. You keep doing things you love. You find your sweet spot and you figure out how you can leverage that to the nine. And you keep pushing, 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 pushing. And I'm sorry to go off on a rant on this, but this I think is the most important thing. And I was able to do this in order to take my little company, merge it with a bigger company, learn some really crazy skill sets, and make myself difficult to ignore, kind of on the career path. So I think that there are some nuggets there of reaching out to people, not being afraid, just pushing, pushing, pushing.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's
Yeah. Yeah, love it. Yeah.
That's been my career arc, and I love it.
Yeah, I built relationships as well, to
Yep,
invite to my podcast, to create cohesive content,
yep,
to launch online events. So yeah, the best way to learn from others, and share your skills that you have. And I love more when you mentioned that your social media is Twitter. And for
yep,
me, for example, LinkedIn works well.
yep,
And I think it's better to find where you enjoy your time. If you enjoy on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, it's up to you. Just love what you do and be on one social media. It doesn't matter what kind of social media. For example, I check out a few marketing books that and they share you need to find where your audience is. I a little bit disagree with that because, for example, if I don't like Instagram, why I need to spend time on Instagram? I am pretty sure that on Twitter I can find some great features, but I'm good with LinkedIn, so where I can grow my audience. And for me, it's better to find your life in social media, and it's the way when you don't burn out. You can go ahead, don't quit, and get high results. I have the final question about future of SEO. Can you tell what kind of future are you expecting in SEO field?
hmm. I think that it's gonna be more and more and more entity based, and it's gonna be more about things that underlie what people are searching for.
Hmm.
And as I look more and more about the data, it's more about the things and the words that are used to search about them, and they're more like modifiers. It's like thing, near, buy the thing, near. There's always buy the
Yeah.
thing for X. It's and I think things like product feeds are gonna be a lot more important. Like, it's
Hmm.
lot more important. I was talking with Jamie Indigo recently, and she was going off about this, like, if you're not if you don't have product feeds yet, or if they're broken, uh, hell hath no fury, like a future
Hmm.
Google scorned, I suppose.
Yeah.
Can
Okay.
I
Got it.
can I share one last thing on that career
Yeah.
arc? It
Sure.
won't be too long, I promise. So,
Yeah.
there's 2 sides of it. There's learn, and then there's give. And the giving, I think, is what really sets you up to also then reach out to other folks. And I've also tried to like build communities, whether it was the agency automators thing or whether it was through doing lots and lots of rooms on a social audio platform called Clubhouse. And I have gotten great satisfaction from helping people learn how to make more money online and also how to get work online. And 5 people have gotten jobs as a result of our Clubhouse rooms. And so I think that there's 2 parts, right? It's like learn, reach out in order to help
Yeah.
yourself, but you're going to be more successful probably just by giving as much as you can.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, of course, givers get more than takers,
Yep.
and that's why we share a lot of content. Help others, support them, and don't care about selling. Of course, we wanna sell, but it's the right. It's more about setting your call to action. In your content marketing, it works well. Thanks a lot, Noe, for all your insights. Tell our audience how they can reach out to you, learn more about you, follow you.
Oh yeah. On Twitter, my username is the same as my first name, last name, just Noah Lerner. And if you want
Hmm.
to send me an email, it's Noah at 2octobers.com, which is spelled out TWO Octobers.com. If you want to try Explorer for free, send me a message on Twitter or an email on at 2octobers, and I'd be happy to set you up with a free trial. Reach out, and I'd love to help you check it out because I think it's one of the coolest things.
Okay, guys, you can find all these links in the description below. Listen us on Apple, Google, Spotify, and see you next time.